On April 12, 2014, around 10 a.m., authorities in Pleasant Grove, Utah, received a distressing phone call from a man residing in a residence within the city limits. Pleasant Grove, situated approximately 35 miles from Salt Lake City, is home to a population of roughly 38,000 residents. The residence in question is a relatively recent construction, featuring 3 bedrooms located on a tranquil and unassuming street. The front yard is adorned with assorted items, with a solitary ornament adorning the front door. The individual making the call was Darren West, recently released from prison on charges related to drug offenses. He returned to his former residence to organize the garage and collect his belongings. Previously, Darren had shared this home with his now ex-wife, 39-year-old Megan Huntsman, and their 3 children, 11-year-old Sawyer, 17-year-old JC, and Darian, who had recently turned 18. In 2005, Darren pleaded guilty in federal court to 2 counts of possessing chemicals intended for the production of methamphetamine. Despite maintaining his innocence throughout his trial, he was sentenced to 9 years in prison. The house in question was owned by Darren's parents. Megan also departed from the residence in 2011 at the behest of Darren's parents, who discovered her extramarital affair. Subsequently, their daughters continued to reside in the house under the care of another relative. Megan relocated multiple times, initially staying with her mother in West Valley City before eventually settling in with her boyfriend Jimmy at the Meadowood Village Mobile Home Park. Megan's mother characterized her daughter as exceedingly reserved, describing her as someone who kept to herself and struggled with mental health issues without seeking help. Megan rarely divulged details about her life, harboring many secrets. Megan and Darren initially met in high school, and Megan soon became pregnant with their first child. At the age of 18, she moved out and married Darren before giving birth to their second daughter a little over a year later. However, their journey together took a tumultuous turn as they both succumbed to methamphetamine addiction, which consumed Megan's life for years. Those who knew Megan observed her suffering from severe depression, leading to job losses due to her addiction. The once stable marriage between her and Darren deteriorated into violence fueled by drug use. Upon finally breaking free from methamphetamine, Megan turned to alcohol, developing a heavy dependence on it instead. Her drinking escalated further following her father's tragic suicide in 2012. By the time 2014 arrived, Darren and Megan had long been separated and were virtually estranged from each other. Darren, accompanied by a few individuals helping him sort through his belongings, returned to the house. While moving items out of the garage, he detected a potent odor reminiscent of chemicals emanating from one of the cardboard boxes labeled "baby stuff," Megan's. Upon closer inspection, he found the box tightly sealed with electrical tape. Upon removing the tape, he made a horrifying discovery: the lifeless body of a baby wrapped in a plastic bag. Overwhelmed by shock and horror, Darren immediately contacted Megan. In a shocking admission, Megan confessed that the baby was theirs, born while Darren was incarcerated. Tragically, the baby had been stillborn, and out of fear and panic, Megan had concealed the body, too afraid to seek help or notify authorities. Deeply shaken, Darren promptly alerted the authorities, initiating a grim investigation into the tragic circumstances surrounding the discovery. Following the grim discovery, authorities swiftly received orders to conduct a comprehensive investigation of the house. Pleasant Grove police quickly descended upon the property, cordoning it off as a crime scene. Amidst the search of the garage, officers unearthed a pair of bloodied leather gloves, adding to the already unsettling atmosphere. Meanwhile, at the mobile home park, Megan's boyfriend returned to find police vehicles surrounding their residence. Informed by an officer of the need to bring Megan in for questioning, the gravity of the situation became evident. One neighbor, Mr. Brady, recalled Megan's desperate plea for a firearm upon learning of the police's discovery of the baby's body. At the station, Megan reiterated the same story. She had told Darren that the baby found in the box was hers and upon realizing it was stillborn, she panicked, unsure of what to do next. However, as the search of the property continued, officers were met with a harrowing revelation beyond anyone's imagination, leaving them stunned and horrified by the depths of the unfolding tragedy. The investigation took a chilling turn when 6 additional infant bodies were uncovered, each wrapped in towels, shirts, or plastic bags, and placed inside different boxes. Captain Michael Roberts described the scene as emotionally draining and profoundly upsetting for the investigators involved. One detective remarked that some of the sights witnessed in the garage would forever haunt them. The tiny bodies were sent to the medical examiner's office for testing, including DNA analysis to determine their identities and causes of death. Just days after this heart-wrenching discovery, an arrest was made, sending shockwaves through the neighborhood and leaving residents in disbelief. Megan Huntsman faced 6 counts of first-degree murder and was placed on suicide watch in Utah County Jail. A devastating secret that had been concealed for 18 years was now brought to light. All of the children discovered in the garage were confirmed to be Megan's. While 1 baby had been stillborn, the other 6 had tragically been suffocated or strangled. Among them were 5 girls and 2 boys, each having lived only for a matter of minutes before their lives were taken. Police Chief Mike Smith expressed bewilderment, stating, "We are still investigating the motives to find out why this happened, how this could have happened." He emphasized the profound shock and disbelief surrounding the incomprehensible actions of a mother. When officers informed Megan of the discovery of multiple babies, she appeared confused, further deepening the mystery surrounding the tragic events that had unfolded within the confines of her home. Megan later admitted that her initial guess about the number of babies found was uncertain. The pressing question on everyone's mind was why she committed such horrendous acts. Megan revealed to detectives that she believed she was sparing her babies from a bleak existence she felt incapable of providing. Her life was engulfed in chaos, plagued by substance abuse, alcoholism, and mental health struggles. Megan acknowledged her inability to care for her children physically, emotionally, or financially, expressing remorse for depriving them of the opportunity of life. Reflecting on her state of mind during those dark years, Megan confessed, "I think my mind was just so out of it, all I was focused on was the next fix." Between 1996 and 2006, Megan had been pregnant 7 times, and police suspected she had given birth alone and in secrecy at home. There were no records of her seeking medical assistance during these pregnancies. Apart from the stillborn baby, she admitted to ending the lives of all her newborns within minutes of their births. She would often use chemicals to mask any odors of decomposition, wrapping them in various materials before concealing them in the garage and continuing with her life. Megan revealed to detectives that her descent into methamphetamine addiction marked the beginning of her tragic actions. Her first 2 daughters were born before her addiction took hold, but by the time she was pregnant with her 3rd daughter, her addiction was well established. Megan felt compelled to go through with her pregnancies despite her addiction, because too many people, including Darren, were aware of them. However, after her 3rd daughter was born, Megan kept subsequent pregnancies secret, only informing a select few whom she later deceived by claiming miscarriages. Megan acknowledged her selfishness, admitting to prioritizing drugs over everything else for over a decade. She expressed regret over her actions, stating that she had wanted to move the bodies out of the garage, but was unsure how to do so without raising suspicion. According to Megan's account, her actions were entirely her own, with no involvement from others. The revelation of her arrest left neighbors in the area devastated and utterly blindsided. The community expressed astonishment upon learning of Megan's secret pregnancies and tragic actions. Despite noticing fluctuations in her weight over the years, most people were unaware of her pregnancies. Darren's family released a statement expressing shock and confusion, mourning the loss of life and striving to support each other through the ordeal. Initially disputing paternity due to Megan's affair, Darren was later confirmed to be the father of all 7 babies. He informed police that he was only aware of a couple of pregnancies and was told by Megan that she had miscarried. Darren, like many others, was profoundly shocked by the discovery, and authorities did not consider him a person of interest. They believed he was unaware of the murders, with no evidence implicating him. When questioned about how Darren could have been oblivious to the situation, Police Captain Michelle Roberts remarked, "That's the million-dollar question." Despite speculation and disbelief, there was no evidence suggesting Darren's involvement in Megan's heinous actions. The revelation that Megan's adult children, who were still residing in the house, were unaware of her pregnancies added another layer of bewilderment. In one instance, Megan had given birth upstairs in the bathroom, killed the newborn, and cleaned up, all while her family members were seated just downstairs, oblivious to what had transpired. As hearings for Megan Huntsman commenced, she arrived at court with handcuffs around her ankles and wrists, often avoiding eye contact and looking at the floor while her legal team spoke on her behalf. She was held on an exceptionally high bail of $6 million, equating to $1 million for each baby. Megan's legal team expressed a desire for a swift legal process, perhaps indicating a recognition of the gravity of the charges against her and the necessity of resolving the case expediently. Megan Huntsman was exempt from facing the death penalty for the charges against her due to the time frame in which the alleged murders occurred, between 1996 and 2006, before Utah's law changed in 2007. Prior to this change, killing a child was not considered a factor that could render someone eligible for the death penalty. Prosecutor Jeff Berman characterized the killings as very cold, calculated acts, emphasizing Megan's remarkable indifference and callousness. Judge Daryl McDade, who presided over the case, recounted signing the initial search warrant on the day the babies' bodies were discovered. He admitted quietly, hoping and praying he wouldn't be assigned to handle the case in court. Reflecting on the shock of the case, he remarked, "I really thought I'd seen it all until this case. It shocked me then, and it shocks me now." The magnitude of Megan's actions left a profound impact on all involved in the legal proceedings. Megan Huntsman opted to enter a plea rather than proceed to trial, a decision reached under an agreement that could potentially reduce her minimum sentence to 5 years. However, by accepting this plea deal, Megan would have fewer options for appeal in the future. Prosecutors expressed satisfaction with this resolution, acknowledging that it would have been challenging to prove the case against her at trial had she not cooperated with the police. On February 12, 2015, Megan Huntsman pleaded guilty to all 6 counts of murder, acknowledging her responsibility for the tragic deaths of her babies. This admission marked a significant step in the legal proceedings, bringing some closure to the harrowing case. Despite the plea deal's provision for Megan Huntsman's sentences to run concurrently, Judge Daryl McDade deemed this arrangement inappropriate. Consequently, the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole scheduled Megan's parole hearing for April 2064, when she would be 89 years old. Prosecutor Jeff Berman expressed doubts about Megan's eventual release, stating, "Even then, I don't think she will ever be released. My guess is that she'll serve the rest of her life." This sentiment reflects the gravity of Megan's actions and the profound impact they had on the lives of her victims and their loved ones. The statements made by Megan Huntsman's daughters, sister, and mother in court revealed a complex and deeply personal perspective on the devastating events. Despite the heinous crimes committed, they stood by Megan, painting a picture of a different person than the one portrayed in the courtroom. One daughter expressed unwavering support, proclaiming Megan's goodness despite the circumstances, while another emphasized the stark contrast between the mother they knew and the actions she had taken. Megan's sister echoed these sentiments, insisting that Megan was not a monster, but someone who acted out of fear. The crimes committed by Megan Huntsman left the neighborhood shattered, and her family and friends utterly devastated. The events remain incomprehensible and haunting for many, with no easy answers or explanations. The conflicting emotions and perspectives shared in court reflect the complexity of human relationships and the profound impact of tragedy.